You're watching WOTV for Women.
Welcome to a special edition of Where You Live. This is Jake, the fire safety dog. You know him from park parties and other events. Well, we are here on the farm where Jake lives in Kalamazoo County. Not only do they teach fire safety here, they also promote a program called Log to Lumber. How cool is that? Scott, tell me what the program's all about.
I started this program about 5 years ago to give the kids in the wood shops an idea of where their lumber might come from, because at the time, all they knew about where the lumber came from was Lowe's or Menards or whatever. And we bring them out here after we do a short classroom session, and they get to see the woods. They get to learn a little bit about how we choose trees and whatnot. They also learn that in the classroom, so they put to use out here in the woods what we've done in the classroom. And then we bring the log that they've selected out and they saw it into lumber and bring it back to the shop.
What a cool opportunity to give hands-on learning to kids. We're not just talking about this. They're walking in the woods, they're looking at the trees, they're learning everything?
That's correct. And I didn't have opportunities like this when I was in high school. And a lot of stuff wasn't presented to me. I didn't realize the opportunities were out there. I'm just hoping that some of these kids can realize that there are opportunities out there that they might not know exist.
Are you a trained professional forestry guy or logger, or what would I call you, a lumberman?
Logger, I guess. I've logged since I was in my early 20s, off and on, along with excavation and other things. So yeah, I guess you could call me a logger.
I love that you're bringing this program to kids, and we are so excited to have a group of high school students here. Tell me where the kids are from and what the plan is.
Well, we are from Climax-Scotts Jr. Senior High School, and the purpose of it is to take and give the students a little bit of information so that they can realize that there is other things than shall we say, a college degree, career choices, opportunities out there. It also gives them a chance to take and see how other classes relate to real-life situations. So, you know, how is the math class that they sit in related to the real-world situation? And this shows them.
So you've got some young men out here who are part of your woodworking class. And what are you hoping they learn today? What would make you smile at the end of the day if they took it away?
Well, a couple things. Number one, the appreciation for natural wood, you know, instead of plastics and metals. But it also takes and shows them that there are other career opportunities that they may not have thought about, you know, and everybody is not set out to be in the office 8 hours a day. And this gives them a chance to take and be out in the woods, in the fields, and other opportunities.
Awesome. Thank you.
The Air Zoo is proud to be a part of Where You Live.
We're back with more of Where You Live. We are out in the woods in Kalamazoo County where we are logging. This is a really cool thing. You've got a group of students out here that you're teaching some things about forestry. What are you teaching them?
Right, so we took a walk through the woods already. We went over a lot of different tree species that are out on this property. We taught them how to use a diameter stick to figure out diameter of tree.
How do you do that?
Well, these sticks are actually made for this, so we did a demonstration about how to use this to figure out the diameter, and then using a ruler and a bunch of other tools, they can walk away from the tree, figure out the height. We can figure out the volume in that tree, and then so we went through, did a bunch of examples through the woods, went over a lot of different species on this property, and from there we got to this point where we're cutting a tree down to figure out what the board footage is in it. So.
Why do you need to use something like this, and why do I even need to worry about the diameter and all of that? What is that? How does that help me?
So we went over a little bit about forest management, and what you're looking at in the woods is to figure out what trees to take out. Part of that equation is figuring out the diameter, and without that diameter, you can't figure out anything about the tree as far as the volume. And we also went over sort of the price of the tree, sort of current market values of that kind of stuff. So without that diameter, you really can't figure any of that out. So.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. Charles and Tyron are going to show me how we do this. We're going to put this practical knowledge to use. So let's use this stick and figure out the diameter.
You would want this side to line up with the edge of the tree, and then you'd get it lined up, your eye lined up, and then you'd look over and you'd look to see what line it's on.
So what do you think this actually is, the diameter from here to here?
It's about 14
14, okay?
from there, and then you come about a quarter of the way around the tree, and then you do the same thing. See what that comes out to, and it's 14.
So it's 14 by 14.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'll pass that information on to our next guy. What are you going to do with the measurements of 14 by 14?
Well, actually, before we can go back to the measurements to get the board feet, we have to figure out how tall it is in which you get the ruler for.
Okay.
You take the ruler, you have somebody hold it.
I'll hold it.
They
You take this microphone and explain what you're doing.
Oh, and then you back up to like 66 feet, and then I'm gonna have Christian come over here, and you take the edge of the measuring stick that you got here, and it'll tell you how many logs you'll get out of it. So we are now currently at 66 feet. So you stand here at 66 feet, you hold this,
you want to get the very bottom of the measuring stick at the very bottom of the tree. And then you want to bring it all the way up to about where it forks off up there.
Mm-hmm.
You get about 4, 3.5, maybe about 4. You can do it if you want.
All right, so I'm measuring this tree. What am I looking at?
So you want to line the bottom of this up with the bottom of the tree.
Okay.
And then look all the way up until you get to the fork of the tree. You see it kind of split off in those leaves?
Right.
Yeah. So how many do you see?
I don't know. How many do you see?
Look, 3.5, 4.
I'm there with you. All right, so this is actually going to tell you that this is how far we have to go for this tree to drop and how big this thing is?
No, you just go 66 feet back, and whoever created this idea of how to figure out how many logs you would get out of it, I don't know, you just go 66 feet back. That's not how far the tree will fall itself. That's just how you figure how many logs are in it.
I'm impressed. You guys are using some math skills here, some critical thinking. It's all coming together, isn't it?
Yeah.
Great stuff. Okay, so we know the diameter, we know the height, and we know the volume of the tree. What are we going to do with that information?
So they've figured out that there's 100 board feet in this tree. A volume is how we figure out how much a tree is going to be worth. This tree is on the smaller end of the spectrum, so it's not something that's typically going to be a high-value tree. It's something we're taking out of this woods for a management type of purpose. So if there's 100 board feet in this tree, they should be able to tell you how much this tree is worth, in theory.
All right, who's got it? Who knows approximately? Somebody's got it. You're measuring. What do you think?
About 15.
About $15, is he right?
He's right. Yeah, this tree is going to be worth about $15 to $20 in a market setting. And again, it's not a big tree where you're talking a lot of value, but it's something we're taking out of this wood as far as the management purposes.
All right, you guys ready to take this one out? All right, let's cut down the hickory tree. All right, so Scott, we watched you cut down that hickory tree. What's next?
We're going to haul this up to the sawmill. Excuse me. We're going to haul this up to the sawmill, and the kids are going to cut it into boards.
Wow. So how do you haul this thing up?
With the skidder.
So you put a big chain around it and you drag it through the woods.
We put a choker chain around it, attach it to the cable on the skidder, winch it towards the skidder so it's nice and close to it, and yes, we just drag it out of the woods.
You know, when you're busy doing this, you obviously are a professional. What are some words of safety and caution you have for people who are trying this? I mean, you're a trained professional.
Don't do this at home. Trees are very unpredictable. If you don't know what you're doing, you shouldn't be doing it. Even trained loggers, I think we've had 2 at least killed in Michigan this year, and that's what they do for a living. So if you don't know what you're doing, you don't want to be doing it.
All right, so really, you know, don't go out and try this.
That's right. That's not a good thing to do.
Excellent. Thank you for letting us watch this. This is cool. We'll meet you up at the area where we're going to do the logging.
Excellent.
Celebration Cinema is proud to be a part of Where You Live.
We're back with more of our Where You Live special, where we're learning about from log to lumber. We have students with us from Climax-Scotts High School. What do you think of the experience so far?
It's a great opportunity to learn more about how the logging industry works, cutting logs into lumber. It's awesome.
It is awesome. It's something like I never knew much about. So we've been out in the woods. We've cut down a giant tree, and we're ready for the next step. And my friend Chris is over here busy working, and I'm going to step on over to you here. Come to me. So what's the next step? We've hauled that log out of the woods.
Okay, we've already took some slabs off of this this particular log, but as the log you saw we cut down earlier in the woods, basically what you're trying to do is create the best boards out of that tree you can. So what you'll see later on that mill, you're going to rotate around until you get a square looking block like this.
So you've turned that circular tree into a giant square. You've taken all of the bark off.
Right, we've taken the bark off, we've taken boards off, which would be down there, and yeah, we're basically just trying to create the best boards we can with the fewest knots we can.
So now what? We have this square log. What happens next?
So next, now we're going to be cutting boards off it. We're going to be cutting 1-inch boards. So there's I'll wait till he gets over here. There's actually a scale here. This is the measuring tape. So where the 4 is at is what's called 4. It's basically a 1-inch log or a 1-inch thick board.
So you've set this to cut it that way?
Correct. It is set to cut a 1-inch. 5 is a lot of people talk about 5/4, obviously over an inch. Then you got 6 and 8. So this is set right now to cut a 1-inch board off.
What's this machine called?
This is actually called a wood miser. These you can buy. A lot of people have these to recreationally cut timber out of their woods. You know, a lot of people that do woodworking for flooring and that type of stuff.
So you're going to let the kids help and learn how to do this?
Right.
Well, that's awesome. Let's watch. What was it like to actually cut this board?
It was a pretty interesting experience. I've never quite done anything like this. Like, I've worked with wood and machines, but nothing quite the size like this. And cutting actually strips of lumber, it's pretty cool.
Is it amazing to think about you went from that giant tree down to this board that you can actually build something pretty cool out of?
Yeah, definitely. Just to see something in the woods and actually be able to bring it back and get strips and actually make stuff out of it it's a pretty amazing idea.
You know, the whole focus of this program is to get us thinking differently. How has this changed the way you maybe thought about future careers even?
Well, I was talking to Chris about what it was like to do in forestry. He said he really liked it, and I don't know, I might be looking forward to doing that in the near future.
Excellent, thank you. I think I could try this. Could I do it?
Definitely.
I'm going to try something new.
We're going to try something new here to get you to go through this. We'll go step by step here, and we're going to actually get a 1-inch board cut out of this cherry log and see how you do.
All right, well, I've never done anything like this. I have no idea, so start at the beginning. I'm wearing the gear. I've got my helmet, I've got my glasses, I've got the gloves, so I feel like I'm already a logger, but what do I have to do?
So for this part, we just have to start this up. We're going to get it set to cut the 1-inch board, and then you're going to walk it right through, and you're going to get your board cut out of it, and we're going to see how good of a board you can cut.
Okay, you make it sound easy. When you say walk it through, am I like pushing it, applying pressure? What am I doing?
So we got 2 different mills here today. This one is a hydraulic mill. You push the lever forward, it goes forward, it does all the work for you. That mill over there, you actually have to physically push that blade through that log.
Okay, I probably will start here.
Yes, this is a good place to start. You push the forward. Once it's all set, you push forward and you're off and going. So
what would someone use the board that I'm going to cut? What would you use that for?
This we're cutting, this type of cherry is, good quality cherry, something more towards flooring, something like that. Maybe cabinets, but more or less flooring or molding or something along those lines.
I think I'm ready.
All right, let's get going.
Okay.
All right, so first thing we're going to do, we're going to pull that lever down. It's all set right now to cut a 1-inch board.
Okay.
So you're going to pull that lever down. You're going to push that lever forward, and the mill's going to start going forward. And from that point, you're going to follow this mill through, and when it gets to the end, we're going to stop it. And at that point, luckily, hopefully, you've got a cherry at that point. Nice board at that point.
Give it a try.
All right, so pull the lever down. There you go. All right, now push that forward. There you go. We're off and going. You're just going to pull this lever back, not all the way back, just until it stops. Just pull it back once, right, keep going forward. There you go. All right, there, go a little bit. Now you want to turn it off, put that lever back up. There you go. You have successfully, yep.
How did I do?
You did good. We got ourselves a nice board, separated from the log, and that's what we're looking for. So right there.
I just cut this cherry log board.
Yep. Now it's got a couple more steps to go through before you can actually get it to the flooring stage, but this is pretty much rough cut timber basically at this point. So now you'll have to give the manual one a try.
All right, this is impressive. Thank you.
Bethany Christian Services is proud to be a part of Where You Live.
We're here in Kalamazoo County where we're learning about an amazing log-to-lumber program. Now, there's so many things here that I should know that I don't, but one of the things is the myth that you can actually tell how old a tree is by the rings. All right, logger Scott, is that true?
It's no myth. Yes, you can tell how old the tree is by counting the rings.
Seriously?
Seriously.
All right, I'm sitting on this big log. Let's take a look. Show me how you actually count the rings.
Well, I use my fingernail just so I don't lose my place, and we just count. I start at the center and count out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we just go all the way to the outside.
All right, there are a lot of rings here.
There are a ton of rings there.
Best guess, how old is this?
75 to 80 years old.
That's an old tree.
It is, and you can tell the different years of growth by looking at how wide the ring is.
So you can see the good years or the bad years?
Exactly. The wider the ring, the more the tree grew that year.
And what about the color difference?
The center is what the tree market actually goes after. People who build cabinets or whatever else they would build out of cherry, they want the center. They don't want the outside sapwood.
Thank you so much. I'm learning so many cool things. You definitely know your stuff. Thank you.
Thank you.
So students have been out here on the farm learning the log-to-lumber program. As the principal of the high school, has it been a well-worth-it experience?
It has. It has. It's been really neat to see the kids and what they've been doing. But I think more importantly, it's good for us to show our kids that they're not pigeonholed by a test score. Test scores are the big thing right now, and it's not that that's a bad thing. We want our students to be proficient in every area they can be. That said, I think it's also really critical that we allow them to see other opportunities that are out there that may or may not require. We want them to be doctors, lawyers, accountants, and loggers, if that's what they choose to be. And, being out in a rural community, I think it's really important that they do see that some of these opportunities exist.
It's been fun today watching these kids put their math skills to work, their teamwork. I'm just seeing all of it happening right in front of me, and I'm thinking, wow, this is education, real life.
It is. And to watch them actually talk about diameter and, all of those things that they actually do use in math, and they don't know how they're ever going to use them. Yeah, it's pretty amazing to watch them get excited about it, So they do use math. They just don't always realize, when they're going to use it. So
bringing learning to life is what it's all about. Thank you for letting us follow you around today.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming out. We appreciate seeing you.
All right, so it's been an awesome time out here learning about log to lumber. How has the experience been for you?
The experience has been really great. We've got to learn a lot of new things on how to fall a tree and how to judge the age of the tree and many more important things.
Did this really bring learning to life for you? Because it's one thing to sit in a wood shop and make something. Now you get to see where that wood actually came from.
Yeah, it's a lot more interesting. You learn many new things and how many people have touched that piece of wood and how many processes it goes through to get to where our wood shop is.
That's awesome. All right, so you're hearing it. Has it been successful?
Oh, I think it's always successful. It's a very good experience for the students.
So we bring kids out here, and there are so many messages when they come to a farm like this. What are some of the key things you hope these young people take away?
We need to teach young people how to manage a forest environment and protect our natural resources, and preventing forest fires starts with forest management and learning where our resources come from. We all need to put our part in of being stewards of the earth.
It has been an awesome time. Have you guys loved it? Yeah. It has been a great time. Jake, thanks for letting us come out. Jake's relaxed. He's had a good time, too. Fun on the farm with Jake, the fire safety dog, and all of my good friends. Have a great evening where you live.